So. So. Mietz. Achso, warte, Genshin ist stumm. So, jetzt.
Oh.
Hm? Jemand müde?
Nee, ich hab nur geguckt, weil ich meinen Mund aufbekomme.
Right. The darker fabric definitely looks a lot better.
Ich hätte
That'd
Cookies.
be my choice too.
We're back, Candace! We've got a lot to tell you!
Ah, welcome back. Sounds like everyone's friends already.
Oh, Tina's here too!
Ey, als ich klein war, hat das selbst mein Zahnarzt bewundert, wie weit ich meinen Mund aufbekomme. Wenn ich jetzt so später nicht mehr nachdenke, ich fand das ziemlich weird.
I'll hate them didn't go with you.
Ja.
We haven't seen him at all.
Huh.
Meins.
I saw him around
Nee,
the
die-
village entrance earlier.
Meins.
Figured he was investigating with you.
Nee, nicht mit dem Kopf schütteln.
Guess he must have gone off on
Meins.
his own. Did you find out anything?
Meins. Meins.
I see. So someone used a kind of incense to lead the exiled scholars away from
Meins.
the village.
Ja.
The resurrection of the Scarlet King? First I've heard of it. Far as I know, the kind of incense you just
komplett
mentioned is
verwirrt
only
eben.
popular beyond the wall.
Ja, komplett verwirrt. Seit wann kriegt er auch was zum Essen?
Ja, genau. So, seit wann ist der? Hallo, fütter mich.
Not to mention making
Scheiß
incense is a
Arschloch.
labor-intensive process.
Hm?
You won't see anybody in the desert with the patience to make or sell something that requires that kind of effort. It seems someone from beyond the wall must have been supporting this.
Makes sense.
So what should we do then? Do we go back to the academia and search for leads there?
If it was any other day, that would be your next logical step. But today, you've got me on your team, so you get an extra tip. Didn't you say that the villager got his news from the tavern? Well, I also like to drink at the tavern, so I know a thing or two about these radicals he mentioned.
Boah,
Ich mag die ja. Ist eine heiße Sau und einsaufen kann man auch noch mit ihr.
The leader of the radicals is some guy called Delavar.
Und mit großen Schwertern kann sie auch
Ah,
umgehen.
yeah. Delavar, the scar-riddled bandit, Engur, the wide-eyed butcher, and Jabari, the duck-tail bearded crook.
verpasst ja.
The whole lot of them are known around these parts. These guys have one thing in common, and that's being broke. The rougher life gets, the more they want to believe in the Scarlet King. Way they see it, the Scarlet King's resurrection is their only chance at overthrowing.
Du wolltest
the
doch
academia.
jemanden cosplayen. Ich denke, sie passt zu dir.
Throwing all of Sumeru into chaos is the only way to change the way of life here in the desert.
Hm. Auch mit den
will so
Öhrchen.
viele-
That's my
ich
guess
will
why
so
they've
viele
chosen to become
cosplayen.
Auch mit den
radicals.
Öhrchen.
Tia, you're amazing! You really know this place in...
No merc can afford to slack off on gathering intelligence. Every mora I've spent in the tavern has been a valuable investment.
Let's head out.
Now hold on, you're staying right here, Sino.
Why?
Aru village is
Ich habe
not
einen
a
Trank
big
gefunden.
place.
Ich habe keinen Bock
Outsiders
mehr.
stand out here like a sore thumb. I'd bet word about you has already gotten
Der,
out.
der hier hat auch
The
einen
desert is
Traveler gerade
unforgiving, so the
zugezwinkert.
way of life here is also a lot tougher than on the outside of the wall.
Du
You
bildest
survive
dir
by
immer
making
so viel
connections out here.
Scheiße ein.
Nee, stand
Compared to
unten.
you, mercs like me are just
Ernsthaft?
third-rate
Stand unten
amateurs.
drin gerade.
I've got no actual fighting skills to speak of. But that also
Hat der
makes it
Traveler
a
gerade
whole
gesagt, sie hat
lot
mir
easier for me to
zugezwinkert. Ist
gain
das
the
jetzt der
locals'
falsche Moment,
trust.
um was zu fragen? Irgend sowas?
I need to go around and ask some questions. But it'll be difficult if you're with me.
Weil in echt hat sie nämlich nicht gezwinkert.
Fine.
Good. Then we've got a plan. The Traveler and Simon will go to Caravan
Einbildung.
Rebot with me, and we'll try our best to figure out where...
Alright, sounds like a plan.
Wir haben einen heimlichen Beobachter. Ich glaube, sie hat ihn bemerkt. Wir schießen ihn einfach. Er ist weg. So, wo sollen wir hin? Ach, darauf, in die Stadt. Ja, dann porten wir uns. Geht am schnellsten.
Well, here we are again.
Sounds like you're starting to get familiar with the area.
Paimon's amazed every time we see the wall of Samiel.
I know what you mean. I had the same question every time I walked this way when I was a kid. Also, why is this high wall here? And can a wall really block sandstorms? It was only after I grew up that I realized the wall of Samiel isn't just there to keep out the sandstorms. It serves a more important purpose, keeping out people like us. Sumeru is run by wise and mighty sages. To them, us desert dwellers are nothing but tools that can be used and discarded at their whim. We're cheap labor, like livestock, but easier to control. Nothing more. Even if a child from the desert got the chance to obtain an Akasha terminal, almost all their requests for knowledge would be denied. The academia believes we're underserving. Geniuses like Sataria are 1 in a million. The other children never get a single chance to try and rewrite their fate, even though the academia knows very well that we're humans, just as they are.
That's terrible.
I would tear down this wall with my own hands if I could.
Hey, Dia. You're not thinking about doing anything scary, are you?
No, not at all. This place just gets me thinking, that's all. Besides, we're here to procure information, aren't we?
Yep, we gotta catch those.
Shh. Caravan Rebot is crawling with people, so be careful what you say. We don't want anyone to find out what we're here for. Our mission started the moment we arrived here. Let's go check out the tavern. Maybe we'll find someone I know.
Ab in die Taverne, wir gehen ans Saufen.
Just our luck. None of them are here today.
You mean, you don't see anyone you know?
Dia, is that you? What a coincidence. You here for a drink too?
Zaki. Finally, a friendly face.
Oh, and who do you have with you here? Guests from another land? Hello, hello. I'm Zaki. Dia's, how would you put it? Drinking buddy?
We've had drinks together a few times. You could say we go back a ways. Anyway, as far as my friends here, they aren't too shabby, are they? You rarely see any Outlanders so friendly and respectful nowadays.
Absolutely. Much better than those people on the
Meine
other
Kekse.
side of the wall. So, Dia, are you looking for someone?
Yeah. Have you seen Enger, Delavar, or Jabari recently?
Meine
Of
Kekse.
course I have. Matter of fact, we were all here drinking together just a few days ago.
I've got a spice trading deal from another nation. I thought maybe Delavar and his friends might be interested. Know where I could find him?
Ah, how thoughtful of you. Then I assume you also know that Delavar's been having a hard time making ends meet these days. So, you came here to help him out?
Hey, keep it down. Let's just say I prefer to keep this deal a secret. Y'all at Caravan Rebot are like family. If there's more to be made, why not do it together? Besides, Delavar and his friends have muscle. They'd be a good fit for escorting the goods.
Yes, how considerate of you. Delavar's my friend too, so of course I can take you to him. Come with me.
Meine Kekse. Hinterhalt, das ist hundertprozentig ein Hinterhalt.
Take it easy.
100 Pro.
Are we there yet?
Yep, this is the place.
This place is practically deserted. What are they doing in a place like this?
Why don't you take a guess? Go on, a wild stab in the dark.
Ja, sag ich doch. Der war so offensichtlich. Der.
What's this all about, Zaki?
Come on, Dia. You really think we didn't hear about what you said back in Aru Village? The boys have kept a close eye on you from the moment you set foot there. Not only do I know that
Ja, der Hinterhalt war von 5 Kilometern aus
I
sichtbar.
also know that you've teamed up with people from the academia to look for the missing scholars.
So, you've been watching us from the very beginning?
Uh-oh. Paimon knew leaving Sino behind was a mistake.
And you left the strongest one in the village, didn't you? Who do you think you are? You really thought we'd fall for your little business deal
Den stärksten
nonsense?
Quatsch ist dabei. Raiden. Muss nur mal kurz Schwert ziehen.
So you and Delavar have been partners all
Vor allem,
along.
sag bei Raiden einmal, Alter, du kannst einfach nicht kochen.
Dia.
Zack,
I
Inazuma
guess it's
kaputt.
only natural for a traveling mercenary
Er hat
like you to
Erfahrung
be out of
damit.
the loop,
Ja.
but you got one thing right. We're all looking forward to an uprising in Sumeru. There's nothing more we'd like to see than
Oder
the
sag mal zum
desert
Shogun
folk
Ei und nee,
overthrowing
sag
the
mal zu Ei Shogun.
academia.
If that's the case, then I'm sure Delavar
Das
wouldn't
ist
miss a
sauer.
second of it.
Kannst du nicht mal mit ihren Roboter
I'll
unterscheiden.
be honest with you. If it weren't for what you said in the village, your little monologue about the wall of Samio would have convinced me that you're one of us.
Delavar. And Enger, you're here too, huh?
Long time no see, Miss Mercenary. You should have known the traitors are what us followers of the Scarlet King despise the most.
Dia, I thought that you, a fellow desert dweller, would understand that the Scarlet King is greater than the Dendro Archon. Little did I know, you don't deserve to join us.
Yeah, gee, what a missed opportunity. Adopting radical views and kidnapping innocent scholars, all because of some baseless rumors. Anything else I'm missing out on?
See? There you have it. Mercenaries are just a bunch of faithless scum with only one thing on their minds. More.
You're not wrong. Mercenaries are driven by Mora, and my faith lies with whoever's paying me. As long as there's a profit to be made, anyone can become my friend.
Enough talking! Get him!
Just as I expected. Let's teach him a lesson, traveler.
Quietly now. Things are about to get dicey. Illusion shut!
Ups, falsche Richtung. Der hat mir noch ein bisschen zu viel Leben.
Hm.
Jetzt nicht mehr.
Impossible! How could you?
So, what do you think about your meticulous network now, Zaki? How did you say it? It's only natural for a traveling mercenary like me to be out of the loop. I'm guessing your informant told you that I'm just an incompetent merc with no real fighting skills, correct? I mean, that is what I said after all. And of course you would believe everything he reported. The only thing you know about me is that I'm a mercenary, but you've never seen me in action. Even though you heard we went to handle monsters together, you believed that Candace was the only one doing all the real fighting. That so-called Flame Mane is just a fraud. She admitted it herself. She just uses her connections to gain the trust of others. That's what you thought, right?
You lied in the village because you figured that we'd have people watching you.
And you were stupid enough to fall for it. I figured as much the first time we drank together. You all thought you were so smart. Pathetic. Okay, that should be all of them.
Whoa! So you've been planning this since we were in Aru Village?
No task can be done without preparation. I just happened to notice a couple suspicious-looking people while you were out investigating.
Oh, but instead of catching them right away, you let them report back.
Those two who were snooping around were just a couple small fries. If we want to get the real catch, We have to be patient and give it some time.
Oh, you mean the funny name she mentioned back in Uncle Ampu's house? The wide-eyed butcher, scar-riddled bandit,
That's just a bunch of drunk talk. Edgar and Delavar like to talk themselves up when they're drinking. Edgar, the wide-eyed butcher, and Delavar, the scar-riddled bandit, are the nicknames they came up with for themselves.
Hast du mir gerade eine Zunge
Alcohol has
gebleckt,
a way
Mietz?
of making people share what they really think. So Edgar and Delavar are always rambling in the tavern about how the Scarlet King is a superior deity.
what about Zaki?
He's just a numbskull who fell right into our trap. Zaki was probably the best hidden of them all. My initial plan was to find Delavar first, and then try to track him down. That's what you wanted to ask when we were at Uncle Anpu's house, right? Jabari is one of the villagers you talked to. You know, the one who wanted to treat Isak and his grandpa to some food.
Wait, so he's a radical too?
No, he isn't. I just needed to tack on a random villager name to make the eavesdropper think that I was making some wild guesses based on my impressions.
Wow, what a genius idea!
Ah, you're too kind. It was straight from the usual playbook, if I'm honest.
So, that thing you were saying before, is it really true?
About what?
About how mercenaries only care about Mora, and that anyone's a friend as long as there's a profit.
Does that bother you? What makes you so sure?
Dia, do you dislike the Dendro Archon like the other desert folk?
You two are pretty sharp. No, I don't have anything against the Dendro Archon. I've heard a lot of nice things about the Lesser Lord from Dunyarzad. I can understand her devotion and gratitude. Dunyarzad's just an ordinary person. There's no way a god would be so involved in the lives of everyday people, unless they were truly compassionate. I've begun to realize that the sages are behind everything that's happened recently. The radicals' blind belief in the Scarlet King, making the Dendro Archon out to be an enemy. It's all the Academia's trickery. But I see through it all. And unlike them, I can never be hostile towards anyone who's never done anything wrong.
Dia.
Anyway, looks like we're done with business here. Traveler, lend me a hand. Let's tie him up and bring him to the village.
Ich habe nur die Maus bewegt, Mietz. Gott, schaust du gerade zerzaust
This
aus.
should be all of them. I'll let you take it from here.
All right. I'll be in touch. Until then, please stand by.
Schaust du fertig
Do you
gerade
need any
aus?
help?
Ich habe gerade geputzt.
Candace will be okay on her own.
Du schaust aus, als ob
I
du eine
trust
Steckdose
her, so
gelangt
you
hast.
can too. She's been guarding Aru village for quite some time now. If anyone is qualified to question the offenders, it's her.
While I'm questioning them, why don't you pass some time by exploring the area?
I'll meet you back here tomorrow morning, Traveler. As for these idiots, let's just hope they live to see another day.
So. So, Uhr. Irgendwann bis morgen. So, gehen wir aber auf morgen. Ja, ich mach mal die ganzen Arkon-Aufträge mal alle durch. Habe ich ja ewig liegen lassen. Du schaust echt aus, als ob du eine Steckdose gelangt hast. Was hast du gemacht?
Ja.
Hast du auch gerade in eine Steckdose gelangt?
Was?
Miet schaut aus, als ob sie in die Steckdose gelangt hat.
Simon's been wondering.
Ist sie Flauschboll?
You seem to
Ja.
know Candace pretty well.
Ja.
Have you been friends for a long time?
We've known each other for some time now. She's a pretty interesting person. Even though she's an extremely strong warrior, she never misuses her powers against others.
Paimon knows what you mean. Like a lot of martial artists say, never take the fight outside the ring.
Yep, I guess you can put it that way.
Katze wegpusten.
It takes strong convictions to be as dedicated as she is, and shoulder that kind of responsibility. Us mercs, on the other hand, we pretty much live from one day to the next.
Well, Paimon thinks you're great too.
Really? Thanks for that.
Was denn?
Ey, dieses Jahr wird es einen Atomkrieg geben. Ich habe gerade ein Spiel gespielt, damit ich einen Free Steam Code bekomme. Und ich so, 2022 ist ein Atomweltkrieg sein. Ich so, yo, das passt voll.
Sharing some interrogation
Was?
Genau.
techniques.
Oxygen,
You mean you taught
first,
some more persuasive
first
methods?
spread die Story einfach, dass
Right.
2022 ein Atomweltkrieg
Come
war.
on in, everyone.
Ja, was weiß ich nicht, aber ich weiß, der 4. ist mal wieder mit der Keule.
Ja. Ich sag mal so, yo, Alter, das
Und wir
passt ja
bewerfen uns
voll.
dabei nebenbei mit Kacke. Das ist der 4. Weltkrieg. Wir werfen mit Kacke und mit Keulen. Stöcken. Keulen kriegen wir nicht mal hin.
You look furious.
Sind zu dumm dafür.
Ja.
Do I? Huh. What gave it away?
Oh, there's no mask that can hide true bloodlust. Cover up your eyes, and it'll still show itself at the corners of your mouth.
Perhaps I need to work on my composure. Still, it's perfectly understandable why I'm angry. I'm sure everyone present would agree.
Yes, ma'am.
Please, don't beat us anymore. We're gonna die.
Bitte schlag uns nicht mehr.
You fear death yourselves, yet you do not hesitate to place the lives of others at risk. The absurdity is mind-boggling. The ones you call mad scholars are known to us as the Village Keepers. They are vital members of our community, and some even count them as family. You come here, to my village, and you treat my people as nothing more than stepping stones towards your goal. Tell me, what would you do to you in my position?
Mercy! Please have mercy!
You've made your bed.
We may both be desert dwellers, but there is one thing that I understand better than you. The resurrection of the Scarlet King will only result in war. And war serves no one. The people of Aru Village care little about which god is in power. Life may be tough and tiring, but we wish to preserve our way of life. A war would only cause us to lose all that we have. And that is not a responsibility that you can afford to shoulder.
We understand. We're sorry. I'll tell you everything I know. Please, just let us go.
I'm listening.
You might not believe this, but it wasn't us who came up with this idea. Someone was spreading rumors in the tavern. That's how we ended up hearing about the Scarlet King's resurrection. Some mystery man told us that mad scholars will make the perfect sacrifice to usher in the Scarlet King's resurrection. They give their lives, and we can get anything we wish for.
They're called Village Keepers. Slip up again, and you'll regret it.
Yes, sorry. It was all that mystery man's doing. He told us to spread word about the Scarlet King's resurrection and talked us into helping him. In return, he said he'll help facilitate the resurrection process. I'm not sure.
That's one.
Huh? One what?
Strike. You get a total of 3. Then, you die by my hand.
Wait, I'm telling the truth. We don't know anything. It was all him.
2.
He got us to lure them out of their houses in the night with some kind of incense. We take them to a junction outside the village. Then the mystery guy takes them from there. You gotta believe me, please. I'm telling the truth, I swear. Just ask them if you don't believe me.
Lass uns endlich mal rausfinden, was passiert, wenn man bis 3 zählt.
Traveler, go on.
Bei Kindern klappt das ja auch. Kino, du musst doch töten.
You have to believe me. If I knew that, I would have told you his name right away. I'm not risking another beating to keep his secrets. No way. That guy, he wears a cloak, and he's always careful to cover his face. He calls himself the Scarlet King's envoy.
I believe I may know what's going on.
Uncle Anpu?
Ja.
What do you mean?
Kino, 10 bis 3.
Was?
Smooth.
Okay, speak.
If my suspicions are correct, this mystery man they speak of could be from the academia.
Katze immer dabei.
Some time ago, people from the academia attempted to take the village keepers away. I refused, insisting that they are part of our community.
Was wird's jetzt?
It
Ich
strikes me now
besiedle
that
jetzt
this
die
secretive
zerstörte Erde
character
mit
shares the same
Überlebenden
goal
wieder
they
neu.
had.
I don't know. Ich weiß, ich habe bei der Story nicht aufgepasst, wie überall anders auch.
Wie heißt das Spiel?
Oxygen First Breath ist kostenlos.
Kenn ich nicht.
Ja.
Kino, Oxygen not included.
Not the academia again.
Ich muss das für 0,5 Stunden spielen.
Warum?
Damit ich ein Free
People are nothing but
Steam
tools in
bekomme.
the eyes of the academia.
Ja.
A change in their plans likely means they found another way to
Ich hab
exploit
schon
the
einen.
scholars.
Es war aber ein Scheißspiel.
Regardless, our top priority now is locating the village keepers.
You're right. Isak is still waiting for news on his grandpa.
Time to go.
Wieso hat Miet so Angst, wenn ich den Finger hochzeige? Ist es irgendwas in Katzensprache?
Pack up and get ready to leave.
You got it. Candace, I'll let you deal with the radicals. Leave everything outside the village to us.
All right.
Let's meet back here once everyone's ready.
Ich mach grad Startwettbewerb mit Katze, hab gewonnen.
Ja.
Ich muss ihn nur angucken. Jetzt wollte ich dich sogar streicheln. Genau, geh wieder daher.
Let's get some food in us and then we'll... Whoa! Where did you come from?
Der war die ganze Zeit da, Palmer, und wir sind hingekommen.
Well, as you can see, I am merely sitting here and reviewing what we have deduced thus far.
You were gone for ages, and now you're suddenly sitting here musing to yourself? Where have you been anyway?
Genauso würde ich mit Palmer umgehen.
Hey, what's with the silence?
Palmer fragt mich,
never
ich sag
think
nichts.
things through before asking questions. I'm giving you some time to make up for that.
Paimon's so mad! Paimon's gonna give you an ugly nickname!
Palmons Rache.
Never mind. Paimon's got nothing. There's just nothing super obvious to pick with this guy. It makes it so hard.
Well, you've heard nothing to suggest I left this whole time. So clearly, I stayed in the village to investigate. Anyway, you plan to leave Aru village and keep searching for the truth of this matter, yes?
Yep. We're not gonna find out anything more by staying here, so we thought that we might as well take the search elsewhere. Enough with the silent treatment!
No. I'm just surprised that you decided to team up with him.
All Hatham, you haven't helped us out at all ever since we arrived at Aru village. Bold of you to question our choices.
Yeah, you're all talk.
While you were investigating, I had my own work to do, which I've now finished.
Really? Paimon doesn't believe you.
To be honest, we aren't really a team, so I have no obligation to inform you of my whereabouts. Not to mention that going separate ways allowed me to find some important information that you all had missed.
Huh? Right here in the village?
Correct.
What did you learn?
I'm going to take you to someone. But before that, you need to understand where she's coming from.
What does that mean?
How do you think the residents of Aru Village feel about what we're doing? In other words, do you truly believe every single word the villagers tell us?
You mean some of them lied to us?
Natürlich.
Hiding the truth does not necessarily equate to lying. Again, these people have their reasons. Remember what Gandis said? Most people in Aru Village don't necessarily care which deity is in charge of Sumeru. That's because whether the Scarlet King or the Dendro Archon has power is of little significance to them. By contrast, the perils of their daily lives are ever-present concerns. They won't simply share everything they know with you without good reason. Glad you're following along. Among those you have talked to, there's someone who was consciously keeping you out of the loop. In fact, she's been observing your every move since you arrived. The reason being, to someone who only wants to live their life in peace, any external factors introduce unpredictability into the equation.
Those eyes. Those fierce eyes. You look like a real fighter.
Don't change the subject.
It's quite obvious that she's intimidated by Sino's authority and strength.
Right. You were asking.
She corrected herself mid-sentence because she's aware that there are Scarlet King fanatics in the village. If she sounds too friendly towards the village keepers, she could easily make herself the radicals' next target.
I think it's been a few days since I last saw them. I usually go to bed pretty early, so I'm not too familiar with what goes on at night.
Remember? She made a point of denying her involvement in anything that occurs at night.
But honestly, I feel quite sympathetic towards them. Even though they act a little strange, they've helped me in the past. If it weren't for them, my house would have collapsed long ago.
After speaking to the village chief, it became clear that the village keepers had protected Aru Village at night. In other words, the young miss was very much awake during that time.
Then why would she lie?
By getting involved with an outsider, she risks drawing unwanted attention to herself. As for why she might be so wary about all this, maybe you should ask her.
I'll pass on this one. You said that she is afraid of me. If so, it's best if I stay out of this.
Ja, du guckst immer so grimmig. Wir grinsen und Paimon vor Paimon hat eh keine Angst.
Die sind halt, der Traveler ist halt geistig gestört. Oder eher körperlich.
Miss Shawnee, as we discussed earlier, I've brought someone with me.
Mr. Alhaitham, I'm aware of where you stand, but how can I make sure that your friends think the same as you?
Huh? What do you mean? We need to clarify our stance or something?
Go ahead and talk to her. You'll get the answers you want. Go on. Earn her trust.
Is it really that simple?
May I call you Traveler?
Klar, hallo Fräulein, Shani. Erstmal flirten.
I want to ask you something.
Hallo, junges
The
Fräulein.
resurrection of the Scarlet King can truly change Sumeru for the better? Why is that? That's very similar to what Miss Candace says. I know you two are friends. That's why I'm willing to talk to you, even though I do have some reservations. Before, I wouldn't even have the courage to ask something like this. Traveler, do you believe our lives will get better?
Yeah! We came here from another nation, so it isn't wrong of you to be weary. And we aren't really residents of any one nation. But even so, we've met lots of people from different places, and we've always fought for what we believed in. in Sumeru, and we want to help them. That's why we decided to stay here for a while.
Ja.
I want to trust you. My apologies for posing my questions like that. To be honest, I didn't expect you to come back for more information.
Alhaitham told us you have your reason. It's okay. We understand.
The fact is that only one side of my family is desert folk. I don't really fit in anywhere in Sumeru. Some believe in the Dendro Archon, while others believe in the Scarlet King. I don't belong to either side, and neither side would want me.
Speaking of which, the radicals mentioned that they despise traitors. Do they just think that anyone who's different from them is a traitor?
Yeah. Some people can be so narrow-minded when it comes to bloodline and beliefs. It makes no difference what I say or how I behave. I'll always be suspected of having ulterior motives. Slowly, I just stopped talking to people. I pretended not to hear or see anything. All I want is to live my life in peace. And then it happened. The village keepers who had helped me disappeared with no explanation, and I didn't dare breathe a word about it to anyone. Until now.
You can tell them. I'm sure he'll keep your secret.
All right. I'll tell you what I told Alhaitham. I actually have a sharper sense of hearing than most. Sometimes, I hear strange crying sounds in the night.
There are ghosts?
Perhaps. I'm not sure. It's faint, but it's definitely the sound of crying. It comes from far away in the distance, and always carries very raw emotion. It used to be louder and more frequent, but ever since you arrived in the village, it doesn't seem to happen as often, and when it does, it's much quieter. I have to focus really hard to make it out.
I confirmed this with the guards on night duty. They also have someone with a good ear, and he's heard similar sounds at night. But, because we're in the middle of a desert, he would rather believe that they are the cries of beasts than ghosts.
There's really nothing around these parts, except for an old hospital not far from the village.
I think they used to use it for treating Elazar, but it's been abandoned for years.
Yeah, let's go!
Ja.
Wo muss ich hin? Ich muss da hinten, da runter. Dann nehmen wir doch unterwegs, wenn es geht, den Teleportationspunkt mit. Da drüben direkt. Ich nehme ich mit. Teleportationspunkt. Kiste. Kiste. Kiste.
Ja.
Busted. Beg for mercy. Crush. More speed. Eye for an eye.
Ich hänge irgendwo fest. So.
Shudder.
Zack. Bist du müde?
Etwas.
Du kannst momentan auch für den ganzen Tag schlafen, hm?
I can put these to good use.
Bei mir tatsächlich geht's gerade. Momentan mal wieder.
Gotcha. I condemn you.
Wir wollen darüber, wo das Seele ist. So. Aussichtspunkt nehme ich auch gleich mit. Ich kann mir vorstellen, wo das Seele hin will.
Ich baue mein Harem mal auf.
Ein Harem?
Crush, Flash. Ja. Nichts Besonderes.
Das Übliche halt.
Quietly now. Rack and ruin.
So, wir wollen dahinter tatsächlich. Aber warum? Wo?
Is this the place? It's in terrible shape. And there's sand everywhere.
Empty and forgotten. An ideal place to hide people.
Monsters! Watch out!
I condemn you. Freeze to the core.
So, hauen wir mal weiter um.
Rack and ruin.
Billowing surge! Allow me!
Shine down. Fake touche.
Hilfe! Wo hänge ich denn? Mann, der hat mich in den Baum reingeschossen. Geh weg.
Now you shall perish.
Da.
They were easier to deal with than Paimon had expected. Super strong bandits? Or monsters taller than buildings dropping out of the sky? Or, you know, something like that. He looks super serious. We gotta stay on our A game too.
This is the one. Let's go in and take a look.
Hey, we haven't found squat. Are you sure we aren't wasting our time here?
Patience. Shawnee says she only hears the crying at night. We have time to burn. Until then, I'm taking a break.
And just like that, he sits down. Wait, he even brought a book to read? What are you reading? Let Paimon see!
Okay, sure.
The natural position, which is the positional propensity of an entity in natural motion in contrast with an object in forced motion? Huh? When free from external influences, every entity displays the tendency to follow its natural trajectory?
So, you got that?
Oh, Paimon gives up. You keep reading your book. See ya! How is he so relaxed? Look at him, reading an impossible book in a creepy place like this. Hey! Paimon's your Tibet travel guide. Paimon knows plenty of useful stuff already. And anyway, it's not Paimon's fault that the books people read in Sumeru are so complicated. Paimon's getting so sleepy. Huh? What was that sound?
There it is. It's coming from that direction.
Is the sound coming from here? Huh. Paimon's not seeing anything.
It's from below.
But there's no way we can get down there.
Something is off about the interior here. As I thought, there's a hidden structure.
Wow. It's like they tucked another hospital into this one. Oh, it looks like there are other mechanisms around here. Let's keep exploring.
Machen wir gleich.
Die wollen alle so viel von mir.
Ja, keine Sorge, ich will nichts von dir.
Gut. Ein Problem weniger.
Gell?
Ja.
Okay, bringt mir viel. Ich glaube, ich muss da draußen irgendwas mit Dendro aktivieren, kann das sein? Aber ich habe gehört, ich habe so viel verschiedene Dendro-Kraft. Ja, machen wir mal. Tut mir leid, Jellan, ich muss dich wieder rausschmeißen aus dem wunderschönen Team. Und den Vogel wieder mitnehmen. Die anderen beiden kann ich nicht aktivieren.
Und da musst du kämpfen. Du musst direkt vor dem Teil stehen, damit Gegner kommen.
Ah.
Da.
Raiden hat auch ein bisschen Auchi. So, dann gehen wir darüber. Ich gucke gerade mal wieder den Twitch nach Bots so durch und schmeiß ein paar weg.
Ja.
Zumindest da, wo ich mir jetzt relativ sicher bin, wo das wieder welche sind. So nebenbei bei der Story Guild passt es immer ganz gut. Da kann ich mal kurz ein bisschen rausklicken. Chip. So. Hammers. Au. Plopp. Dachte, vielleicht gibt es ja irgendwo drin.
Money für ein Auto. Perfection.
Bist du pleite?
Ja.
Look, there's someone over there.
Sei vorsichtig,
Bei,
Mann.
bei 14 Frauen auch recht einfach.
Slowly without alarming him.
Und warte, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
You're...
Und 19 digital. Also über Messages.
Can't speak,
Hat
and
echt viel zu
his
tun.
eyes are unfocused. But he looks too young to be anyone's grandfather. Also, why is he the only one here?
Didn't expect to see him here.
You know him?
He's Razak, a senior of mine at the academia.
He's a scholar too?
So, aber
Is he the kind
ich
that
bin ja
holds
noch
up in
nicht
a
durch.
forest and
Wir
mumbles
haben ja
stuff
gerade
about
von meinen
training?
Frauen geredet und bei den
No.
Kerlen habe ich nicht ganz
And
so
that's
viel.
the problem.
Mhm.
Razak was never involved in
Ich
any
muss
of
mal
those
kurz
things.
gucken,
He never trained in the forest, let alone reach Satya
wenn ich schon
Vadalai.
dabei bin.
Leaving that question aside for the moment, him being here alone means that we might be too late. Looks like they've already taken everyone away.
7 Kerle
For
und
whatever reason,
3,
they
ja,
left Razak
3
here.
über
Perhaps they
Messages.
simply didn't have time to come back for him. There are drag marks on the ground.
Ich habe
They're
echt viel
clear
zu
by the
tun.
doorway. Someone was forcefully drawing a cart that was loaded with something heavy.
Loaded with people?
That is one possibility. It looks like they were in a hurry, as if they were afraid of being caught. In their haste, they failed to notice Razak hiding in a corner. The symptoms are identical. Looks like we found living proof.
Huh? Why do you say that?
Allow me to jog your memory. Recall your time at Port Ormos. Don't you think his symptoms look familiar?
Ein bisschen, ja.
Was?
Ein bisschen, ja. Ein bisschen familiar.
Oh, now that you mention it, they're acting the same way.
Correct. The academia is behind all of this. It isn't difficult to deduce their rationale.
1% Bonus hierbei.
First, the academia spread a false rumor of the Scarlet King's resurrection, emphasizing the role of the village keepers, the mad scholars who were exiled to
Play
our
Blood
village.
Splash for
These
year.
rumors were
Ja,
all
gut,
the
das ist
persuasion that the
wichtig bei
radicals needed,
Crush
and those based in Aru village
auch,
leapt into action. Unbeknownst to them,
eigentlich.
of course, through rounding up the scholars, they were actually helping the academia. As well as being able
Ich krieg
to
einen
exploit the
Stiefel für
radicals for
15
their own
Minuten,
ends,
für eine Stunde,
this
für
scheme
8
has one
Stunden, für
further
24
advantage to
Stunden,
the
für
academia.
72 Stunden, für
All the risks
150
and
Stunden,
responsibilities are
für
offloaded onto the
333
Scarlet King's
Stunden, für
followers.
672
Life for the
Stunden, für
desert dwellers has been brutal
888
ever
Stunden,
since the Scarlet
für
King's death all those years ago.
1111 Stunden, für
Beneath the surface, feelings
4222
of desperation
Stunden,
are
für
widespread. Many would give everything they
5832
have for the prospect of
Stunden
something
und für
better.
ein Jahr.
Anyone looking to exploit that for their own ends simply needs to
Ich
make a
bin sehr
few empty
beschäftigt.
promises. Even if complications arise, people will see that those involved are all followers of the Scarlet King and
Weiß gar
look
nicht
for no
wieso.
further explanation than differences of belief. A deep-seated mistrust of the desert and everyone in it by the rest of Sumeru will make sure of that. The notion of an academia plot wouldn't even cross their minds.
Und dann
It
habe
may
ich noch
seem
Zeit
like
für
a simple
dich.
strategy, but it is able to work wonders
Hast
under
du?
Sumeru's current circumstances.
Ja, was soll ich mit dir hier nicht
Oh,
sitzen?
that makes a lot of sense. It's in line with the village chief's theory, too. But there's still one very important question. Wasn't it the academia that brought the scholars to Aru village in the first place? Why does it want them back now?
Throughout this process, one thing has changed. The scholars' identity. First, they were scholars. Then, they became lunatics. After that, they were exiles.
So,
And
wer
finally,
will 13 wird?
they become missing persons.
Ja.
An exile is still patently a living, breathing human being. But when someone becomes a missing person, that is brought into question. If you can't find someone, you have no way of knowing what exactly happened to them.
Ach, du hast mir
That
was
makes
geschickt.
missing people an ideal resource.
Das war bei Crash drin, ne?
For
Mhm.
what exactly?
Das ist witzig.
One possibility
Es
is
gibt
that
so zwei
the information in their brains could be
Werbungen
extracted
in
into
gern. Das ist
knowledge
einmal
capsules.
die und dann einmal nutaku.com.
You mean canned knowledge comes from people's
Bei
brains?
nutaku.com
With the
gibt es auch
technology of the
Crash.
Sumeru academia, it's entirely possible. Perhaps
ich
the
jetzt noch
process
mit
caused them
nachgeguckt.
great suffering, which is why they cry out in the dead of night when no one is watching them.
So, the human brain... Nope, nah, Paimon doesn't want to think about this.
I'm the academia scribe, after all. I'm familiar with their projects. Anyway, judging by Razak's state, the contents of a divine knowledge capsule were extracted from his mind. But something went wrong in the process. Or perhaps his curiosity got the better of him, and he used such a capsule for himself.
Paimon's a little confused. Can they just use anyone's brain?
The look on your face tells me you've realized the answer.
Ein bisschen.
That's right.
Was?
To some
Nee,
scholars,
zum Ding.
gaining knowledge about the gods is their entire life's pursuit. Extracting canned knowledge is just one of the extreme measures they turn to. However, I can't help but wonder, what do they seek to gain from divine knowledge? The academia is going out of their way to look for forbidden knowledge, but what is their ultimate goal? I've spent quite some time trying to analyze the contents of the divine knowledge capsule, but to no avail. It seems like my way of thinking is too different from theirs.
You mean you're not even slightly interested in getting your hands on this forbidden stuff?
All scholars seek to expand the horizons of knowledge, but I'm not particularly interested in gods, so I don't share their degree of zealotry. Extracting information from people as if they were lifeless objects? If this is the direction of academic progress, then the academia may as well shut its doors.
Sounds like you're really against all this.
Of course. The academia's actions run contrary to their rules. Whether it be academics or knowledge, everything has its boundaries. If those lines are crossed, the rules and order that govern everything in the world will be destroyed. This matter needs to be corrected, just like fixing a typo in a book.
Wait, didn't you step in to help because you felt sympathy for those poor people?
Not to be callous, but no. My criteria are a little more restrictive than that. There is no shortage of suffering in Sumeru, and the same can be said for the rest of Teyvat as well. What do you plan to do about that? Save every last person?
Probably not. Paimon's not sure.
You can say that.
Huh.
Simply put, I don't blindly place my faith into strength or heroism. I do what I want. The divine knowledge capsule is something I want to investigate in full. That doesn't mean I'm willing to take action for the sake of a few strangers.
Oh, Mensch, der Rücken weh.
Ja, nicht mehr lange, dann kriegst du
Been
nicht
wanting
was
to say
da.
this for a while. There are a lot of bad guys in the academia,
Yeah.
but you're not one of them. You're their weirdo.
Kaffee.
You're probably right. Though I must say, I quite enjoy this feeling
Noch
of being
mehr
the odd one out.
Kaffee.
Uniqueness is also an asset, is it not?
Mehr
It's a
Kaffee.
great way to think about it. Paimon's really impressed. If only Miss Shani had a similar mindset, her life would definitely be a lot easier.
I'm just a more likable person than her in general. There's nothing more to it than that.
Da geht es wieder mal. So, du brauchst eine Stunde. Dann
Was machen wir mit
It
ihm?
won't last long if we leave him here. Let's take him with us. We'll work out our next step after we return to Aruville.
Da haben wir Opa, der irgendwie nicht Opa ist. Aber hey, Opa. Wir haben Opa gefunden. Lose Sandhügel, was? Ah, okay. Ich habe irgendwo lose Sandhügel gefunden und einen uralten Schlüssel. Der lose Sandhügel ist mir aber gar nicht aufgefallen. So, gehen wir raus. Wo war der lose Sandhügel und warum habe ich hier was bekommen dafür? Egal, wir porten uns, es geht schneller. Flupp. Einmal hierher. Zack. Ich glaube, der Arkon-Auftrag geht noch ein gutes Stückchen weiter, hm? Oder liegt es daran, dass ich endlich einen Arkon-Auftrag mache? Ich war ja ewig. Seitdem das Gebiet ist, habe ich mir gedacht, lass bleiben.
We're back!
You must be tired. You should rest and take some water.
What's the situation?
Geil, die braucht jetzt einen
Who's this?
Tag. Bis
Unfortunately, somebody who's too young to take
kein
on the
Wunder,
role of
warum
Aesop's
ich
grandfather.
beide Spiele hier lange Zeit
Nevertheless,
lang
he's
geschlossen
one of the people we're
lasse.
trying to find.
Weil ich krieg über die Messages, kriege ich auch
At one
meine
point
Bilder.
in time,
Und die
the
braucht da
abandoned
einen
Elazar
Tag,
Hospital
3
served
Tage.
as
Ich
the
meine, so lange, Alter, wie
academia's
lange
site
macht
for
ihr sowas?
extracting
Yep, pretty much.
Their plan must have been implemented at some point before we arrived at Aru village.
Und
Since
da ist
divine
quasi,
cant knowledge has been in
wir bei
circulation
den
for a while
Messages
now.
weiterkommen, zumindest beim
Yet,
weiblichen Part.
they fled once we were headed to the
Ja.
village. Almost as if they knew
Meine,
we were on their
meine
trail.
Sets muss ich noch mal
Why is
diesen
that?
hochkriegen. Und
We may have a mole in our midst.
weil ich bei den
One of us
Jungs
could be
halt
secretly
nur
revealing our
einen
whereabouts to the academia.
Reset-Bonus von 15 habe und bei den Weibern einen Reset-Bonus von
Are our
250.
friendships that shallow?
Looks like none of you have realized wherein lies the issue. Sino, you're the reason why they can predict our movements.
Wait, what's that supposed to mean?
Choose your next
Aber auch
words
nur bei
very
Steam, wo ich
carefully.
dachte,
It is simply a logical inference.
nö,
I have
Cloud
my reasons.
geht zu diesem
So what
Moment
you're
nicht.
saying is
Lassen wir mal,
Sino's
darfst du alles
the
nochmal machen.
interesting.
Ich hatte meinen
And here I
Emo-Boy
thought you were the
schon.
most suspicious
Bin
one on
pissed, dass ich ihn wieder freischalten
since you
muss.
were always acting alone.
Der war cute.
I know. You have a point. But I realized something as we were returning from the hospital. Sino isn't like any of us.
What are you trying to say?
Do you still remember who you are, General Mahamatra? As a Matra, you are no doubt privy to certain kinds of information. Before you can take action against someone, you are required to have all the facts available, including the less than savory details. Simply put, the academia has traditionally allowed you access to a wealth of sensitive information. Knowing their modus operandi, wouldn't you expect them to take precautions against you? If you want to raise a vicious wolf, you need to make sure that you can avoid its bite.
The academia is monitoring me?
It's not that simple. The academia has eyes all over Sumeru, but they have a special protocol for dealing with you. Every so often comes a Nyagarbaha Day. On this day, the academia enters new information into the Akasha through knowledge capsules. I remember seeing the thick notebook next to the control panel once. Its contents were all about the General Mahamatra, his activities throughout the day, preferred methods of enacting judgment, everything.
You're saying that the academia entered my information into the Akasha too? But what's the point in doing that? My actions aren't important enough to be added into the Akasha.
The Akasha is capable of computation. The Akasha's algorithms are entirely capable of predicting your movements using the data entered. When you would depart, the route you would follow, your destination. It knew all of this.
It predicted my every move.
The academia has been watching you longer than you think.
So that's how it is. Sino adheres to his principles so strongly that he's actually a thorn in their side. Tenacity of will and steadfast faith are worthless to the academia. They need scholars who are easily pliable and mindlessly go after anything they can profit from. Sino, don't take it to heart. This just proves how much of a trustworthy ally you are.
They escaped because of me.
Don't blame yourself. It's not like any of us would have known.
I have an idea. If they predicted my movements, then I might be able to guess where they went.
Whoa, you bounced back fast.
There is always an opportunity for safety after danger passes.
Oh, so that's how it is! But if the academia is trying to avoid Sino, the safest place would be... Yep, that's right!
They'll want to proceed in the direction opposite of where I'm going.
Paimon, du wirst ja langsam schlau.
I must go.
Langsam.
There's also
Langsam aber
something I
sicher.
want to investigate.
Let's go, guys! After him!
Please, wait! I want to go too!
You want to go too? If so, you have to promise you'll stay safe.
I want to find Grandpa. I promise I'll be careful and not cause any trouble.
Everyone, I leave him in your hands.
Yay! Let's go! Remember to pack some food with you!
Huh?
Paimon feels like we're missing someone, though.
Yeah. Neko.
So. Ich würde sagen, wir machen jetzt noch eine halbe Stunde Story. Wenn wir nicht bis dahin durch sind. Und dann haben wir langsam, aber sicher mal die Aufgabe, so ein bisschen Harz zu verjagen, ha? Ob ich das schaffe darauf? Ja.
So, where do we go from here?
Yes. After leaving the village, we should head straight toward the desert.
I know the desert like the back of my hand.
Is that because you play here a lot?
Yep. One time, Grandpa almost got lost in the desert.
Mano.
But I was the one who brought him back.
Da habe ich F gespammt wie so ein Geisteskranker.
There's something here. What's this?
It's buried in the sand.
Jetzt passt schon besser. Vorhin war dir warm.
Paimon thought running around everywhere was already enough work. Okay. So, we have to dig it out? Whatever's down there.
These are likely fragments of an academia-developed device. Looks like there were more than one village keeper. They must have been escorted this way, because there are... Let's split up and search the area.
Okay, Area untersuchen. Kriegen wir hin. Kriegen wir hin.
Is this what we're searching for?
This is definitely a device used to extract divine knowledge.
How did it end up buried in the sand? They must have been attacked along the way.
Wait, what?
Grandpa, I hope you're okay.
Da.
Don't worry.
Eigentlich wollte ich auch noch ein bisschen Mist machen.
Razak didn't
Aber ist nicht
display
schlimm.
any signs of starvation or dehydration.
Machen wir mal wieder Genshin,
which
haben wir
means
schon
they
lange nicht
left
mehr.
fairly recently.
We should be able to catch up.
One more thing. Given that the device had been entirely covered by sand, I believe the attack must have happened prior to the sandstorm.
Was denn?
Ich habe das
Let's
erste
keep going.
Vibe,
You can't have gone
was
far.
ich über Messages habe, mit was ich jetzt wirklich, dass ich was machen muss. Ich habe mich schon gefreut, dass sie mir nicht mehr schreibt.
So tiring.
But you're flying,
Mann.
are you, Paimon? Is flying over sand tiring too?
Der wird da ganz oben der Teleporter sein. Guck mal, da drüben ist ein Sandwirbelsturm.
Voices, over there. It sounds like an argument.
Ich hab mehr Zeit.
You have really good ears.
Der hat Riesenohren. Natürlich müssen die groß sein. Gut sein.
They'll notice us.
Was
Dia's
muss
talking
groß
with
sein?
the Eremites? Very interesting. Let's listen in.
If you had informed me sooner, there'd be plenty of room for us to...
Stille, okay.
We would never.
Auch gut.
Scholars. You don't know as much as I do. Need me to...
I knew it. That's our Dia.
Dia? Why would you... Dia!
Isaac!
Huh?
Warum nehmen wir dumme Kinder mit?
You say you'd help me find Grandpa? Why are you on their side?
Well, look who's here.
This complicates things.
You've betrayed Aru village?
Die heißt Peanuts.
So, this is the great General Mahamat.
Das habe ich gerade durch
Yeah,
das
you'd be
Achievement
better off
gesehen.
as my assistant than hanging around with this motley crew. Seen for yourself.
Wieso heißt die
I have the
Peanuts?
means and method.
I'm not the type that's easily swayed.
Wer nennt
Ramon.
sein Kind
You of all
Peanuts?
people should know that.
Wait, what's going on, Dia? Whose side are you on here?
Shut it, Paimon.
Doesn't matter. Whichever side you pick, nothing could deter us from the grand mission of resurrecting the Scarlet.
Face the facts, Ramon. It's not gonna happen. You should understand that more than anyone. Have all your years as a merc taught you nothing about placing hopes in a ruler?
I'm a desert dweller and a proud follower of the Scarlet King. Whether I live by the edge of the sword or in peaceful comfort, my soul will always carry this conviction.
It's not too late yet. The village mad scholars aren't gonna bring the
Dann
Scarlet
mache ich
King
das
back
jetzt
to
mal
life.
so.
You don't understand, my dear lady. Pursuing our faith is our purpose in life. Even if the chance of success is 1 in a million, we must be willing to give everything we have.
Even if it'll expose you to the academia? Even if they end up disbanding the Eremites? Your Eremites, which you've worked so hard for all these years?
Yes. We've waited a long time for this day to come. The sun and the moon no longer shine here. All you see now is cracks in this desiccated land. But fate has finally dealt me a hand to play against the academia. With these scholars in our custody, we'll stomp the academia's forces and fight our way beyond the wall of Samiel.
Ridiculous. Think about it. The academia controls the entirety of Sumeru. Your powers are negligible in comparison. If you still don't believe me, then try asking these two men. They're also against the academia, but neither of them are as arrogant as you are.
They look more like pawns of the academia to me. Filthy traitors. Your god abandoned all honor and betrayed the Scarlet King.
It's impossible to communicate with someone so hostile. Perhaps we should.
Do you really believe that by kidnapping the scholars, you'll be able to negotiate with the academia? These people have no value as bargaining chips, but I could be persuaded to take their place as your next hostage. These scholars were exiled from the academia. I, on the other hand, am their current scribe, and will be a much greater asset to you.
Wait, you can't be serious.
So, you want to trade places with the hostages, do you?
Precisely. Any wise person would gladly accept my offer.
What are you thinking? What if they decide to kill you instead?
Well, that would be bad luck for me. However, I'd get the chance to observe the scholars, perhaps even find out the truth.
Think you can talk me over with that confident look of yours?
I'm not trying to persuade you. I'm using this as a means of joining forces.
You are the scribe. What do you have against the academia?
Not all desert dwellers believe in the Scarlet King, and the same applies to the Academia. Why must all knowledge seekers approve of the Academia's way of doing things?
You Academia scum! Every last one of you is nothing but a hypocrite, just like everyone else on the other side of that wall. I've made myself clear enough. I won't listen to another word from the Dendro Archon's people.
Not so fast. I'll hate them. Do you stand by everything you just said?
I never make empty promises.
You know you're making a dangerous decision, right?
I do.
Good. Raman, hear me out. These people are my friends. Maybe you can't take the followers of the Dendro Archon at their word, but what about me?
We've known each other for years. Of course I do.
In that case, I'm willing to vouch for their honesty with my right arm. Come on, Raman, don't be a coward. If you're serious about taking on the Academia, you need to steel yourself. You can't be afraid.
An arm from the Flame Mane. You've piqued my interest. But what if you refuse to oblige? What should I do then? No one's a fool here, Dia. We're mercs. And mercs don't tend to live long unless they have their wits about them.
You're not wrong, but this is different. I promised my friends that we'd bring back the village keepers together.
Let's do it right here then. Give me your right arm as proof of your resolve.
Don't listen to him! He's not even trying to negotiate! He just—
That's fine.
Are you crazy?
We came here to save lives. One arm for that many people is still a pretty good deal, if you ask me.
Sure. Go ahead and cut off her right arm.
No! Dia! What are you gonna do? Think of something!
You don't have to go this far.
That's not for you to decide.
Do it!
Dia, run!
Stop!
What's wrong? Can't do it?
Flame Mane, you and I are both desert folk. Cutting off your arm is no different than cutting off my own fingers. Where's the sense in cutting my own kin to pieces? You've shown me that you're serious. Go on now, take your friends and leave. Meet me in the desert at noon tomorrow.
So, ich würde sagen, es heißt wieder morgen. Ich glaube, das ist ein guter Punkt, um einmal dann gleich Pause zu machen. Und ein bisschen Harz verjagen gleich.
That was crazy! Have you all lost your minds? What if he'd actually cut your arm off?
Then I just have to hold my claymore with my left arm. Okay, I'm sorry. But sometimes when you're out on a limb, you gotta double down to seal the deal, you know?
Don't ever make a promise like that again. I can deal with the likes of them. If it came down to it, you would not lose to them either.
I don't doubt it, Sino. But this is about more than me and them. There's a lot more where they came from. Even if we got rid of one bunch of radicals, there are others out there. Wiping them out would do more harm than good.
As you wish.
I'm sorry, Dia. I should have stayed put and listened.
It's okay. I promised you I'd help find your grandpa, so I'll do whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes? You just might be scholar material.
Huh? Are you serious?
The Eremites once said that I was a lunatic. Perhaps a little madness is essential to be successful in research.
Why does it feel like he's using his praise for me as an excuse to brag about himself? Okay, let's get moving. We should head...
Ich würde sagen... Ladescreen. Okay, genau. Das ist jetzt mal ein guter Punkt, um hier mal kurz... Wir sammeln mal kurz die Wunde ein. Schauen wir mal kurz, ob wir vielleicht einmal beten können. Ich hätte lieber sie als ihn. Ohne Scheiß. Aber ich ziehe, wenn dann, immer nur Cookie. So, wir machen kurze Pause. Und damit würde ich sagen, sehen wir uns gleich wieder.